Hey, what's up guys, Lux here bringing you a new video, and today we're going to be taking a look at set 75283 Armored Assault Tank, or AAT, from LEGO Star Wars. This comes with 286 pieces and retails for $40, so price per piece, it's not there if you're into that. However, for what it's lacking in pieces, it definitely makes up for in other inclusions, which we'll take a look at here soon. This set is a very desirable one of the only Clone Wars sets for Season 7 of the Clone Wars. A little disappointing when you think about it that way. The build, something we're going to be taking a close look at here soon. Going to be available in the Skywalker Saga video game, so that's exciting. But yeah guys, I love this Clone Wars box art, by the way. Very happy with that. Looks really good. But with all that out of the way, let's get right into the set. Alright guys, here's the finished build in its entirety. And for as much flack and praise that this set gets, I cannot tell a lie. This thing looks beautiful, fully built up, at least at first glance. The AAT is definitely a sight to look at, but first, as we always do, we're going to be taking a look at the minifigures. Alright guys, here we go. Now, first off, we're going to be taking a look at the figure that I think most people are going to be getting the set for, which is Ahsoka Tano herself. Finally, LEGO has come back and realized, hey, this is a semi-popular character. We should probably remake her again. We haven't seen her since Rebels, and it's really good to have her in minifigure form again. Now, obviously, you can tell she comes in her Season 7 Siege of Mandalore outfit. You can tell because of the blue coloring. Pretty similar to the Mandalorian color scheme, at least on the good side, with Bo-Katan. So pretty well replicated, and there's a ton of detail there, both in the legs and the torso and the back. You can even see a little bit of detail as well. A little bit of it is being covered up by her hair, but it's there, and it's quite nice. She comes with two facial expressions, one with her aggressive, like battle-ready face, and the other one, she has a pretty cool and confident look. So very nice there. Obviously, this hairpiece, or her horns, whatever you want to call them, I forget the name, apologies. However, this is reusing the hairpiece that she had in the Rebel set. Now, this was actually first used for Shaak Ti, and this is a bit of a hard rubber, so it's pretty nice. You don't have to worry about it breaking necessarily in the longer parts. Something to know about my figure is that it has some marks down there, or some fading in the very bottom. You can obviously see a bit of white there, which unfortunately is obviously not supposed to be there. It's all meant to be blue down the tip of her hair, so that kind of sucks. But overall, her hairpiece is pretty nice. I definitely think they should have used an older style hairpiece, or made a new hairpiece in general, to more replicate what she had in, obviously, the Clone Wars, what she's based off. If they used the older Clone Wars hairpiece, I think that would have worked nicely, especially when we've seen her, what she looks like in Mandalorian. I think that definitely replicates it a bit better. I feel like this is a little too long for what she looked like in that final season. She obviously comes with her blue lightsabers that Anakin gave her. And overall, a really great figure. Obviously, they're not using that Clone Wars animated face for the eyes anymore, so that's neat to see. I'm just glad LEGO finally caught up with the trends, especially with a character that's getting her own TV show now, recently announced. It's good that we have her in a fairly accessible set. So anyways, that's been Ahsoka Tano. Moving on. Next up here, we have another desirable figure of the set, which is the 332nd, or as the set calls it, the Ahsoka Trooper. This trooper in particular, we see a lot in, obviously, the Siege of Mandalore, which is great. It was even the main logo for Season 7 of Clone Wars. This is a very neat figure. Glad LEGO actually decided to make this one. And he's also in the box art for all Clone Wars sets from this wave, so that's also a very neat detail. He's in the new style for clones, the mix between live action and animation from the Clone Wars. You can see this with the 501st Troopers. You can see it here. It has a little bit of shading down here by the helmet. Obviously, we see the new style clone head that they use now. This was introduced with this most recent wave to obviously make the clones, instead of having those angry clone faces like they've had for a while now, look more like Jango Fett with the darker skin tone. I think this works. I think this was definitely a change that no one really asked for, but improves the figures. We can expect to see this face from now on for most, if not all, clone troopers, obviously, and very interested to see if they use this style of face for any future Jango or Boba Fett figures. So yeah, that's been the 332nd or Ahsoka Trooper. Definitely a very desirable figure to have here, exclusive to the set, obviously, and definitely another reason why I can see people buying multiples of these AATs as well. Now moving on to the last figure. Here we have a B1 Battle Droid. Now, two of these are included in the set, and the actual set itself identifies both of them as different figures. One as an AAT driver and one as a typical Battle Droid, just with the green markings. These type of markings / figure coloration was introduced in 2019 with the Kashyyyk sets. They called them Kashyyyk Battle Droids there. They're obviously called two different things in this set, so LEGO's just reusing them to whatever they want to be called at this point. But we do see this in season 1 of the Clone Wars. pretty much the exact same markings and all for this droid, and he was an AAT driver, so definitely a good inclusion here. Would I prefer different figures, like maybe a tactical droid? Absolutely, but these guys definitely fit here. Like I said before, the two are included, and they both come with this gunmetal gray blaster. The Clone Trooper came with a blaster as well, but it was solid black coloring. These guys have a slightly different coloring blaster, just something to point out. Obviously, same type of figure that's been seen since its first inclusion in Star Wars, just changing up his arms so he can hold a blaster straight. And yeah, they're accurate, definitely. Still pretty flimsy as well. I really hope Lego can definitely update this figure to at least make it more sturdy. That's the only thing that really annoys me with these battle droid builds, is that it's very hard to stand them up straight sometimes compared to regular minifigures, but maybe that's just a trade-off to have them look accurate and this good to their in-universe version. But yeah, this has been the battle droid. So pretty great minifigures overall. I want to say as a whole, these figures are definitely desirable in their own right. You know, maybe excluding the battle droid, but yeah. Now we're going to be taking a look at the build. This AT model is definitely different from its predecessor Clone Wars iteration. You can obviously see that it is very much downsized. And keep in mind, this is a $40 set, and compared to the other Clone Wars 2009 AAT, it's definitely a downsize. Most people would agree that this is definitely not better than the previous model. In fact, it's pretty disappointing in most aspects when you compare it to that one. But as an AAT model in itself, and given that it's the only one currently available, I think it definitely makes its presence known. I think it definitely doesn't deserve as much hate as, you know, some people give it. But that's not to say that it doesn't deserve as much love as other people give it either. I think by no means this is an abomination. Is it the perfect set? No, but there are definitely some aspects you can pick out that are good and they're not good. So let's take a look at them right now. So first off, obviously the model, we can tell is a smaller model from the predecessor. But for the $40 price point, I think this is definitely lacking when it comes to size. There are other $40 sets that you can get that can probably offer you a bit more in other themes or Star Wars as well. Something I want to point out first is that down here it's using some translucent circular pieces to obviously make it seem like it's floating. Like right there, it's not touching the bottom, and this is very accurate to, you know, the in-universe model. It is a floating tank, not a rolling one in the Star Wars universe. Something small but very neat for me, at least when I first noticed it. Next up here we have the little side cannons. Now these cannons, they're smaller, obviously they're not the main cannon that's going to be used to destroy other vehicles, but these are definitely like anti-personnel in case anyone tries to get too close to the tank. These are pretty neatly built. I think they're a little too large or long if you're comparing to in-universe, but you know, it gets the idea across. It's connected by a little pin here, so it's very easily detachable, as you saw right there. That is a little bit of a downside, but you know, for the most part, it's going to be a little bit of a display piece. But if you are planning to play with this, definitely something you want to keep in mind. Up here with the main cannon, though, this is definitely where most of the criticism comes from this set. It's that the cannon is very large. Now, it definitely makes it look a little bit more intimidating, but when you compare it to other AATs, this is freakishly long. This is definitely easily moddable, but for a official LEGO set, you know, it's not the best thing to see, in my opinion. Definitely would have preferred it shorter or more proportionate to the model as a whole. It has a little bit of a feature where you can move it up and down, and for this little cockpit area where the cannon lies, you can also twist it 360 degrees. So that's a little fun to do, in my opinion, but yeah, you can have a little bit of fun with it. Nothing too insane. Up here we have a little bit of antennas, giving a little bit more detail. If you look at the bottom here, you can see that it comes with some CIS stickers to obviously represent that it's, you know, a separatist army. I wish these were print. These are translucent stickers, so they could get a little dirtier quicker if not taken care of properly, but definitely gives a little bit more character for how little the set can contain. This set also, you can open up the center of it and the top of it. Similar and accurate to in universe, you can have droids down here and another droid commanding the top of the cannon. Obviously, the interior isn't as big as it would be, but definitely gets the job done very nicely, in my opinion. So up here, you'd have your commanding officer or AAT driver overlooking the battlefield. And down here, you would have the other battle droids who are driving the vehicle, making sure maintenance is good, all that fun stuff. So they fit in there very nicely. You know, they're battle droids, so you can really position them in any way you really want. You can even make them as small as this if you really wanted to, but you know, you don't really need to make them that small. LEGO gives them plenty of room to fit in this AAT, and voila. On the side of this AAT, it has a little bit of, I don't know what this is, honestly. I think this is meant to be like some fuel tanks or something, but they're here. They're neat. Kind of annoying at times, but, you know, there it is. In the back here, there's no real door you can pull down to have your battle droids come out of the tank. But with the slow piece, it does give a little bit of that impression that you could actually lower down a little door. But, you know, there's obviously no door here in the set. One last little play feature, a pretty well hidden one in my opinion, is these little flick fire missiles. It's located at the back of this tank. You can see it down there just a little bit. And what you do is obviously since they're flick fire missiles, all you're really gonna do is flick them just a little bit and the thing will go flying. It hit me. It ricocheted off my hand and went straight on the camera to hit me. But yeah, it's a cool little feature, you know, just something small. Flick fire missiles are making a comeback. Hopefully they can replace such shooters outright, but you know, that's not going to happen. That's just a false wish right there. But these, you can obviously put them back very easily, and they're really just out of the way. You can take them off if you want, but I think they look best when they're on. Obviously you don't want a little hole just located there. It takes away a little bit from it, but with these on, it just makes them look like, I don't know, little lights or sensors in the tank. I still think it fits really nicely there. So yeah, you can take that as a positive or a negative, up to you. I see a lot more as a positive. You don't really notice them, and when you do, they kind of look cool in my opinion. But yeah guys, that is pretty much it. My overall thoughts of the set, I like it 100%. I think it's a great set. You can definitely make an argument that there's some bias when it comes to liking it, because it's one of the only Clone Wars sets we received from LEGO, and it's been a while since we actually got not only Clone Wars sets, but an AAT in general. The figures here are to die for, I want to say. Well, half of them. The battle droids, you know, you can do with them, you can do without them. I think they definitely fit in this set, however. You get an Ahsoka or 332nd Trooper. Very nice, very desirable. Definitely think this set's going to go up in value just because of that Trooper, especially for it being exclusive to the set so far. The Ahsoka, you know, she's growing immensely in popularity. Finally, LEGO recognized that. It's great to be getting her again since Rebels. Definitely a cool variant as well in her Siege of Mandalore outfit. And yeah, overall, a pretty good set. The value, I say, it's definitely there, especially if you're only planning to pick one up. I highly recommend any LEGO Star Wars fan to pick at least one of these up. Not just only for having a build that we've not seen in a while, really, especially in the Clone Wars variation, but also the figures here, like I said before, really good. Everyone's going to want an Ahsoka. I'm sure LEGO will make more in the future, given that, again, she is getting her own series, but then again, it's LEGO. We have a higher chance of getting another wave of just X-Wings and TIE Fighters than we do with them catching up with TV shows like The Mandalorian. But anyways, guys, that's pretty much it. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you next time. Have a good rest of your day.